Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we have for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak's 4th free title update and the implication and massive changes that is going to be bringing to endgame hunts and endgame armor sets, and specifically weapons, through curious crafting. As one of the things that most likely ended up being overviewed or not necessarily paid attention to as much in the presentation itself is just how curious crafting is going to be changing weapons and boosting them to insane levels. So in this video, not only do I want to focus on that a little bit, shed a little bit of light on just some of the changes that we're going to be seeing there, just about all the weapons. I also want to go over some of the anomaly research quest changes that we're going to be seeing as well. Some of the new details for the lore being presented for the 2 new monsters being added in on this specific 4th free title update. Some of the information that we got regarding the event quests that are going to be added for this specific update. And on the back end of the video, I do want to give my very quick opinion regarding the paid DLC that we are going to get, because I've seen a lot of people just asking me like, what do you think about the paid DLC? Not really much at the end of the day, but there's certainly one thing that I do want to kind of like point out for people who have been asking me to give my opinion on it. So first and foremost, I want to show you guys this specific image because this was like very quickly shown in the presentation itself. And most likely, most people didn't necessarily just see the amount of changes that we're getting when it comes to curious crafting and weapon boosting that we get essentially as you are trying to now hit the level 220 anomaly investigation cap, if you will. Remember, the cap is being raised by 20 levels from 200 to 220. And as you're hunting these new risen elder dragons through anomaly investigations and anomaly investigation chaotic gore magala, you're going to be obtaining some brand new materials. They mentioned right there, like showcase one of the images like risen dragon bone. That most likely comes from, of course, the brand new risen anomaly investigation dragons. The 2 things that I want to kind of showcase to you guys right there is underneath the weapon. So where they showed decapitator, underneath that they showcase, first and foremost, you're now going to have access to 11 different anomaly slots. Right now I believe the cap is 10. They're going to be adding 1 more. That's going to be one of the biggest changes that we're going to have. Is going to change the way that you're kind of adjusting that. But on top of that, you're going to notice that unlocking brand new anomaly slots is going to add brand new boosters. Right now you get like some sort of like just raw stat boost or something along those lines. Now you're going to notice that based on most likely the weapon itself, not only you're going to get raw attack, you're also going to get sharpness, but then, of course, you're going to get elemental boosts. And what makes this even crazier is that on the left side of the screen, it says that if you boost it even further, you're going to get an even extra more 20 dragon, elemental boost. What makes this even crazier, if that wasn't enough already, is that if you look on the second pane, so where it says add anomaly slot, there's an L and R tab right there. So essentially it suggests that it says, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's most likely going to be an anomaly, level 7 for you to be able to unlock there as well. So that level is going to unlock extra bonuses and bring that dragon plus 20 on the elemental left side of the screen even further up. So not only specifically when it comes to just like great swords, which is the only weapon that we have an example for right now, not only are you going to get that plus 15 attack, which might end up being plus 20 at a level 7. But then on top of that, you're going to have that already elemental dragon 30. Now it's going to get boosted by another 25 maybe, and maybe another 30. Sharpness is going to go up a little bit more. And now we're just, talking about just an insanely powerful weapon that you're wielding, because it's maxed out at 11 slots with pretty much just extra boosters, not including the fact that you're going to be able to slot in even more attack, decorations and all of those things. Now that's just for the great sword. Of course, every other weapon is going to have different verifiers, different modifiers. We have been kind of requesting for weapons that need kind of like that little bit of a boost to get through anomaly slots, kind of like those weapon adjustments that we have been hoping for. Remember that between the 3rd and 4th free title update, Insect Glaive was one of the weapons that they decided to showcase. Hunting Horn was another one of the developer weapons that they got to see through the developer challenges. Maybe those weapons are finally going to start getting some love. I've seen a lot of Insect Glaive users complain that they have like been wishing for more changes, specifically when it comes to their bugs necessarily being as powerful as they should be, and this is one of the ways that we're expecting those changes to come about. So not only are weapons going to become really powerful through Curious Crafted, which they already are now, but then elemental, weapon sets are just going to go basically berserk at this point. But hopefully raw armor builds not necessarily get left behind, and of course they end up get boosted in their own way as well. And if you take a closer look at the official website, I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below. In there, they actually showcase a couple of details, just kind of like overview as some of the changes that we can expect if you didn't necessarily catch all of them in the presentation. But of course, more Risen monsters now are going to be appearing. Of course, the Risen Crimson Glow Valstrax, we're going to be talking about his lore in just a second. But the 8-star anomaly quest with Chaotic Gore Magala appearing as anomaly investigation monster. All 4 Risens, including Crimson Glow Valstrax, will be part of now anomaly investigations. Risen Camelios, Risen Kushala the Aura, Risen Teostra, and Risen Crimson Glow Valstrax will all be part of up to anomaly investigations 220, up to 110 or 116, I believe is what the level that you can start seeing them appear as. So they're going to be, relatively available early on. Someone did ask me what is happening with the last 2 Apex monsters. Are they going to still be appearing? We don't necessarily know. Most likely they should be appearing. If not in this update, most likely in the next one. So as of right now, we don't really have any clear clarification. Seeing how the level cap is probably going to end up getting raised to around 300 or so, maybe 999 like I spoke about in another video, that might end up being the case. When they end up kind of like going crazy with the level cap unlock, we end up seeing the last 2 that we need. But that will come in due time. Now, as far as the monsters are concerned, there are some a little bit of clarifications, a little bit descriptions, lore descriptions that they provided on the webpage, which I didn't necessarily see covered, of course, in the presentation itself. They mentioned that when it comes to Volcana, is known as the ice dragon that freezes all, or the iceborn wyvern. Interesting wording there. Few records of Volcana exist. As such, they remain shrouded in mystery. Their icy breath is so cold that it can form massive ice walls and spires out of nowhere, and is even powerful enough to freeze other monsters. Some report indicate that Volcana will freeze their rivals in order to establish their domains. Now, one of the things that I did specifically cover presentation was the fact that Volcana is a roaming monster. It is appearing pretty much in every single map in World and Iceborne, but here in Sunbreak seems to be like it's just gonna be in the Frost Isles for whatever reason. We haven't seen it show up elsewhere, which is going to be really interesting if that does remain to be true. Most likely the Citadel as well, but we don't necessarily know. We'll have a better idea once the patch goes live. When it comes to Risen Crimson Glow Valstrax, the lore states that the Risen Crimson Glow Valstrax are elder dragons that have found a way to overcome their affliction. By suppressing the Curious virus, they have gained great strength and new abilities. Their abundance of dragon energy has granted them greater agility and even more devastating explosive powers. Very few will be able to withstand their ferocious attacks. With their anger reaches its peak, they'll enter into the risen state and their bodies will begin to glow. And that's when they turn into that peak yellow gold, if you will, wingtips, gold wingtips that I made sure to mention in the original video, which I certainly love the look of them. Big fan of the way this Risen Crimson Glow Valstrax will be looking. Now, as far as the event quests are concerned, they did specifically showcase 3 of them in the trailer presentation. They were very quick. The first one was a Violet Mitsune, still in the same arena where we have kind of seen it appear already multiple times. Another one is 2 Luna Garens fighting at the same time. The one that they spoke of is, I believe, the Chaotic Gore Magala and Seething Bezogeese kind of fighting together. And they even specifically spoke about like the earmuff rewards specifically for that one. And then another one is a Scorn Magnamalo and a Furious Rajang in the arena as well. So that's at the very least 4 of the quests that we know of, and we know one of them specifically. The developers will be playing that as they will be showcasing the lance weapon there. As for the rewards specifically, we're going to wait for the patch notes to actually go live so we can actually cover those and see what kind of rewards we're going to be getting there. And, they look interesting nonetheless. The last thing that I will touch upon is the fact that, of course, the paid DLC, I think this is probably the best thing we could have expected for, because realistically speaking, so these little characters are something of like they have been doing on social media. If you haven't necessarily been paying attention to like their Twitter and Facebook posts, you probably have no idea what the hell this paid DLC even is supposed to be. These like 3D weird looking characters that they showcase, and essentially they come from like this weird art that they have been kind of sharing. They specifically alluded to some of the art already appearing in Elgato, as I believe is supposed to be Minoto is supposed to be the artist, and in-game kind of like drawing these characters, and they kind of just appear out of nowhere. Chiche is a fan of them, so that you will be able to find some of those art appearing in the game as Chiche kind of like, you know, collects them and stuff like that. So that is the lore behind that. And now you have these weird 3D looking characters appearing in game that completely look out of place. Now the good thing about this is the fact that there's no paid DLC weapon sets. Therefore, you know, you just have these weird character skins, and they just really look stupid to me. Like, I don't necessarily know who the hell is going to buy this, but of course, as I say that, I'm sure a bunch of people will. So therefore, the fact that they're providing this like paid DLC, but it doesn't necessarily seem all that appealing, I don't think people are going to be too upset when it comes to that. It's not really that big of a deal. I already saw some people memeing it on Twitter, so I don't think it's really that much of a big deal, unlike the layered weapons, which certainly were getting a lot of attention. And they're still, of course, doing like voice packs for characters and stuff like that. But, you know, that's kind of expected at this point. No big surprise there. So that's pretty much all the information that I wanted to cover. These were the last bits of information that I didn't necessarily get to talk about during the presentation video, like my quick reactions. And I certainly wanted to go over the curious crafting and game changes that we are going to see. This is going to be massive. Yes, the Volcana and of course Risen Crimson Glow Valstrax armors are going to be insane, and the unique skills are going to be bonkers. But on top of that, this new anomaly investigation changes with curious crafting for like maxed out weapon levels are going to be nuts. They're going to be expensive. They're going to be hard to get those materials, but boy oh boy, they are going to certainly pay off for sure. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.